I am 103 years old. I have lived through wars, through loss, through decades of silence that felt heavier than anything this world ever put on my shoulders. But nothing was heavier than the secret I carried for 61 years. And the moment I finally let it go was the moment I lost everything. Let me take you back. I was 28 years old when I married her. Her name was Margaret. She had this laugh, loud, embarrassing, completely hers. The kind of laugh that made strangers turn around and smile without even knowing why. We were young, we were broke, we were happy. And then she got pregnant. I remember the night she told me. We were sitting in our tiny kitchen. She had this little smile on her face, like she was hiding the biggest secret in the world. And she was. I cried. Grown man, sitting at that kitchen table sobbing. The good kind of crying. The kind that comes out when life gives you something you didn't know you needed. I was going to be a father. But there was something Margaret never told me. Not that night. Not ever. The baby wasn't mine. I didn't find out until much later, after she was already gone. She died when Daniel was 3 years old. A car accident, on a Tuesday morning, on her way to work. Ordinary Tuesday, the kind of day nothing is supposed to happen on. And just like that, it was me and this little boy, alone. I found the letters in a box she kept in the closet. I wasn't looking for them. I was looking for his birth certificate because I needed to enroll him in school, and I was just going through things. There were maybe a dozen letters from a man named Robert. I won't tell you everything they said, but I'll tell you enough. They had been together before me, and once, briefly, during a hard period in our marriage, a period I remembered as a rough patch, a few cold months where we didn't talk much. I thought we'd just grown through something, moved past it. I didn't know. The last letter was dated about 8 months before Daniel was born. I sat on the floor of that closet for a long time. I don't know how long. At some point, Daniel came and found me and climbed into my lap and fell asleep, and I just held him. He was 3 years old. He smelled like soap and peanut butter, and I made a decision right there on that closet floor. He was my son. That was final. That was permanent. And Robert, whoever he was, wherever he was, had never once appeared. Not during the pregnancy, not after Daniel was born, not after Margaret died. Nothing. He was gone before it even started. So I burned the letters, and I never spoke of it again. I raised Daniel alone. That's not me asking for credit. That's just the truth. I worked 2 jobs for 11 years. I learned to braid hair because his kindergarten teacher said the other little girls had braids, and Daniel wanted to know why his daddy couldn't do that. I practiced on a mop for 3 weeks. By the time I got to his daughter, my granddaughter, I was pretty good. I went to every game, every play, every graduation. When he was 16 and he got in trouble, real trouble, the kind that could have changed the whole direction of his life, I was the one sitting across from him in that room, not raising my voice, just saying, "This is not who you are. I know who you are. I raised you." He turned it around. He became a good man, a doctor actually, spent 30 years helping other people's families through their worst moments. I watched him become who he is, and I thought I did right by him. I thought I gave him everything he needed. I never thought about the one thing I was taking away. When I turned 82, something shifted in me. I know that sounds strange. 82 is not a particularly dramatic number, but something about it felt like a door closing somewhere. I started thinking about things I hadn't let myself think about in decades. I started thinking about Robert. I had never looked for him, never wanted to. But now I was old and I was tired, and I had this feeling that kept waking me up at 3 a.m, this feeling that I had built Daniel's entire life on a foundation he didn't know about. And that felt wrong. It felt like I had stolen something from him. Not out of cruelty, never out of cruelty, but stolen all the same. What if he had a brother somewhere, a sister? What if Robert had a family Daniel didn't know existed? What if Daniel had medical history I couldn't give him because I didn't know it? What if he found out after I was gone and felt lied to by the one person in the world who was supposed to always tell him the truth? I couldn't shake it. For weeks I went back and forth. I called my sister, she's gone now, but she was alive then, and I told her everything. For the first time, she listened. And then she said, "You know what you have to do, and you've known for a long time. You're just scared." She was right. I asked Daniel to come for dinner on a Sunday. Normal dinner. I made pot roast, his favorite since he was 7 years old. We ate. We talked about his kids, my grandchildren. We watched a little television. Normal evening. And then I turned the TV off. He looked at me funny. I only turn the TV off when something serious is happening. He's known that his whole life. He said, "Dad, what is it?" Not a question, more like he was bracing himself. I told him I needed to tell him something, that I had kept something from him for his entire life, that I had believed I was protecting him, but that I didn't want to die with this between us. And then I told him, all of it, Margaret, the letters, Robert, the closet floor, the decision I made while he slept in my arms. I told him I had never loved him any less, not for 1 second, that he was my son from the moment I held him, and that never changed, and it never would. I told him I was sorry for keeping it, that I thought the truth would bring us closer, that I wanted him to know me, really know me, before I was gone. I was crying by the end. I'm not ashamed of that. And Daniel sat very still. He didn't say anything for a long time. He just looked at his hands on the table. Then he stood up. He walked to the hook by the door where his keys were hanging. He picked them up, and he left. No words, no door slam, just the quiet click of the latch behind him. I sat at that table until midnight. I told myself he needed time, that he would call in the morning, that this was shock, not rejection, that you don't love someone for 54 years and then stop because of one conversation. I told myself a lot of things. He didn't call in the morning. He didn't call that week. When he finally called 12 days later, he was polite, distant, asked if I needed anything. I said no. He said okay, that was it. Something had broken. I don't know exactly what. I've had 20 years to think about it, and I still don't fully know. Maybe it wasn't about Robert at all. Maybe it was about Margaret, about the version of his mother he had carried his whole life, and what I had done to it that night. Maybe it was about me, about realizing that the man he thought was an open book had kept a whole chapter locked away. Maybe he just needed to grieve something, and the only way he knew how to do that was away from me. We're okay now. I want you to know that. It took years, slow, careful years, but we found our way back to something, not the same as before, different, maybe more honest, in the end. He found Robert. Well, he found out about him. Robert had died in the 1990s. There was a daughter, Daniel's half-sister. They've met a few times. It's complicated, but it's real. He told me once. About 3 years after that Sunday dinner, we were sitting outside, watching his grandkids run around in the yard. He turned to me and said, "I don't know if you are right or wrong. Dad, I've stopped trying to figure that out, but I know why you did it, and I know who you are. That's all I needed. I'm 103 now. I don't move very well. I sleep too much. The world has gotten very loud in ways I don't always understand. But I think about that closet floor, that 3-year-old boy, the decision I made in about 30 seconds, that I then carried for 60 years. And I think about this. Sometimes love is the thing you give, and sometimes love is the thing you protect someone from, and sometimes the hardest times you don't know which one you're doing until it's long over. I thought the truth would bring us closer. It pushed him away, and then, slowly, it brought him back. That's not the ending I expected. It's not clean, it's not simple, but it's ours. He called me yesterday, just to talk, nothing important. He told me about his week, I told him about mine. We laughed about something his grandson did. Before he hung up, he said, "I love you, Dad." I said, "I love you too." After 61 years of carrying that secret, that was enough. That was everything. I don't know how much time I have left, but I know this. Whatever time it is, I'm spending it honest, and I'm spending it with my son. That's all any father can ask for.